Samba Sundays, today with Catinguele. The band was formed in 1983 in the south zone of São Paulo, and they were part of a very interesting period in samba and pagode history. Before we get into that, though, the name of the band was inspired by a song by Fundo de Quintal. Again, just reinforcing how important Fundo de Quintal was. And one of the most notable members of the band was Salgadinho. He was part of the original formation of the band, and he composed some of the most popular songs of the band in the early days. He later left to go solo, but that's where Salgadinho started. Back to the 90s, though, I feel like similar to rock in the 80s, rap and hip hop in the 90s as well, there's a very clear image and very specific artists that come to mind when we think about those eras. The same happened to pagode in the 90s. There was a whole movement that took off during that time, and it marked the romantic pagode era. This whole romantic movement started in Sao Paulo with a new generation of artists. Most of the bands that took off during that time, they were formed by artists that were born in the 60s and 70s, that grew up listening to traditional samba and pagode. But in the 90s, it was like a breath of fresh air. They had a different style, they brought different arrangements, different fashion. And at the core of the movement was the love theme songs. And despite how popular the movement was, it was a little bit controversial, mainly because of how commercial pagode became during that time. We can probably blame TV, radio, record labels, the agents for all of that, because they were fully capitalizing on the success of those bands and informing a lot of decisions that were being made at that time. And a lot of the traditional artists from samba and pagode, they were voicing their concerns about this whole new generation and this whole movement that was happening. But the 90s was arguably one of the most successful periods for pagode, and a lot of artists made a lot of money during that time, and the songs are still popular to this day. And Catinguele was part of that. They surfed that wave, uh, probably one of the major players during that time. After the boom and the success in the 90s, the band broke up in 2001. They got back together in 2005, and they're still out there today. Catinguele, singela homenagem, espero que goste.